The Bullard Panthers have a new coach, and we're here to talk to him. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the S2S Sport Network off-season new coaches series. I don't really know how to explain it, but basically what we're going to be doing for the rest of this off-season is every few days I'm going to talk to a coach who has moved into a new position at either 4A, 3A, or 2A, and just basically talk about how he got the new job and what his thoughts are. You know, the standard interview. And so we're going to start that off today with the head coach of the Bullard Panthers, Coach Colt Bradford, known as Coach Colt Bradford. He was the defensive coordinator at Bullard. In fact, he's in the midst of his second stint with Bullard. He was with Bullard all the way back in the early 2000s for almost 10 years. He was part of that 2011 team that went to the, I think it was the area round of the semifinals, regional semifinal round. But he then left for a couple years, came back, was the defensive coordinator, and then when former head coach, now athletic director only Scott Calloway, stepped away from the coaching, Coach Bradford was then named the head coach last month. And so we're going to talk to him just about, his thoughts about being a new coach, but in the same place. I think that's a huge plus. Not that you should always hire within, but I just think, especially when you're talking in April and May, when a coach gets named, if it's in a place that he's already participating in the offseason program, and then the kids already know him, he knows the expectations, he knows their personalities, they know his personalities. I think that's big pluses, and I think this is a really, really good hire for the Panthers. And so we're going to talk about that and other things with Coach Bradford. But first, we want to thank our title sponsor, Power Plus Mouthguards. You can find them online at powerplusmouthguards.com, the future of mouthguards. Now, why is Power Plus Mouthguards so great? Well, it's going to help eliminate concussions. And how? By simply aligning the jaw perfectly. And when you line the jaw perfectly, more oxygen gets to the brain, which makes you perform better. So think about that. It's a mouthguard that not only protects, but helps you perform better, and it helps eliminate concussions. Not 100%. You can never eliminate it 100%, but the data shows that it has worked amazing, not only in prevention, but also performance. And the great thing about it is you can go on to powerplusmouthguard.com and see the data and the research yourself. This is independent data, independent studies. This isn't something that Dr. Hutchinson just paid to do. He got independent people to research, study, and figure out what makes the mouthguard great. And the research is absolutely awesome. The data is awesome. The testimonials, all that you can find online. And not only that, they're affordable. They look great. They're easy to get fixed to the jaw. Because again, that's what it's all about. It's aligning that jaw so oxygen gets to your brain so you can stay outside that fog of football and you can keep performing at a high level because your brain is completely clear. Your muscles are getting fully oxygenated. So again, check out Power Plus Mouthguard. All right. When we come back, it's the head coach of the Bullard Panthers, Coach Colt Bradford, right here on S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at L4FRclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the S2S Sports Network. Now joined by the brand new head coach of the Bullard Panthers, Coach Colt Bradford. Congratulations. You've got to be excited.
Very excited. Been at Bullard for a long time. It's kind of been a dream for me to eventually lead these guys.
You talk about that you've been at Bullard for a long time. You're in the middle of your second stint. You were there in the early 2000s through 2015, 2016. You then bounced you then bounced around to All Saints and Palestine. You came back to Bullard. What is it about Bullard that just keeps bringing you back?
It's these kids' work ethic. They're just blue collar kids that it's instilled in them from their parents. You're going to work hard, you're going to do right. And it's just being around these kids, just their personalities and the way they are just draw me to them.
As a new head coach, is it easier that you're going into a position or a school that everybody already knows you? You've been the defensive coordinator there for the last few years, so they already kind of know what your expectations are and how you push them. Do you think that makes it, I don't want to say easier, but I guess easier. Do you think it makes it easier for you?
Yeah, I think it does. The kids are really well accustomed to my expectations of them and how things need to run. And with Coach Callaway, me taking over the mantle for him, he's been a mentor to me for 5 years, and he's still mentoring me every day. And so just having him around kind of gives kids stability and kind of, I'm going to change a few things, but for the most part, we still have high expectations for our kids, and they're going to continue to reach those expectations.
Well, as a coach, and I'm assuming you were aspiring to be a head coach for most of your coaching career, are you the type that along the way you kind of grab things from coaches that you see that you like, and as one coach told me, put it back in a folder that you can have for when you're ready to start becoming a head coach?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've worked for really good guys before. Learned a lot of stuff from Ron Callahan whenever I was at center. Took a ton of stuff from Shannon Wilson when he was here at Bullard. And then working with Robbie Clark at Palestine, you take all that stuff and you say, okay, this is what works here, and then you kind of mash it up and you try to you try to combine the things you learn from those guys and mash it and make it your own.
Well, you brought up center. Let's talk about what Bullard is going to be having coming back this year. You're in a tough district in 8-4A Division II. Last year, y'all go 2-4 in district. But again, you were competitive in a lot of those games. You had a high-scoring game with Rusk. You had a 7-point loss to Van. So tell me what you think is going to be Bullard's biggest strength going into this season.
Biggest strength is going to be these kids have been in these tough games before. We're losing 5 games last year by 1 possession. They're gonna reach back in their memory and remember what they need to overcome in those situations. And we've harped on it all this off season. It's just one more degree and it sets us over the top. And we're in a very tough district, but our goals still haven't changed. We're gonna make playoffs and we're gonna win some gold balls.
Well, as a program, the last few years, y'all have kind of yo-yoed, and I assume as the new head coach, consistency has got to be something you're starting to preach. Not that it wasn't preached before, but especially going forward.
Yeah. We're a growing community. We're getting kids in every day that want to be part of the Bullard community. We had a bond passed.
Yep.
Getting a new junior high, new indoor facility, a lot of upgrades. And our school board's really pushed improving the school. Because that draws in kids and parents alike, and that's part of it. Is now we're starting to have the numbers in our football program. Where a sophomore isn't starting on a Friday night. It's juniors and seniors out there. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that now our sophomores are getting that experience on JV and getting the reps that they need. Whereas in the past, maybe they were a backup or they were starting taking their lumps. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us is our older guys being able to actually go through and have a freshman JV varsity year.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Not only, we think of a sophomore playing up at varsity and that means they're really good, but they also can struggle and they don't get to get those individual wins and team wins. You put them at the JV level where they're competing against kids their own age. All of a sudden they start winning. And you as a coach know 50% of the battle is getting these kids to buy in and to enjoy winning and to know what winning is like.
Right. That's winning is contagious, and once you get used to it, you don't like the taste of losing. And we've had successful years. Our JV was pretty successful last year, and our freshman team, they struggled a little bit, but they were always in games. And so I think, just having that continuity of we're going to win at the 7th grade level, the 8th grade level, freshman, JV. By the time you get up to varsity, it's just a everyday thing. I mean, you look at programs like Carthage, who everybody wants to be like. We want to be there one day.
Yeah, and you kind of brought up a point a few minutes ago about how Bullard is growing. And one thing I've always heard from coaches that have coached around Bullard or in Bullard is y'all have the athletes. It's just getting them out on the football field.
Yeah, in the past, we're kind of known as a baseball school.
Yeah.
We're very good at baseball. We have been able to, Coach Ellis is our baseball coach. He does an amazing job with those guys. He hardcore pushes football. He pushes football. He pushes track. He wants multi-sport athletes. And so we've seen a return of those kids coming back to football. We got some really good skill kids. I have a defensive end that's also a baseball player. He's going to be really good. But we've definitely seen more and more kids coming out for football.
Well, you bring up a good point about the multi-sport kid. Back when I played, it wasn't that coaches didn't want to, but they weren't really happy about that. But it seems like now coaches understand that most programs that win have multi-sport kids in them.
Right. I think the important part of playing multiple sports, we always want our kids competing at something, because I think it's fine to take a break, but if you're a football, baseball kid, that's great. I want you competing in the spring in something.
And that was the new head coach of the Bullard Panthers, Coach Colt Bradford. And we do appreciate him joining us. It's going to be an interesting year for Bullard. Last year, they go 3-7. They went 2-4 in district. But, man, they were in a lot of their games. They beat Maybank to start the year 28-22. Then they lose by 7 to Caddo Mills, playoff team in 3A. Lose by 7 to Quinlan Ford, playoff team in 3A. Lose by 1 point to playoff team Mineola. And so you go into district, and you've got Carthage right off the bat. And I was actually impressed that right after the Carthage game, they then got back-to-back wins, beating Brownsboro and Canton. Again, close games. And then that heartbreaking loss to Rusk, that felt like where kind of things just went off the rails at the last moment. And then losing the center, but then bouncing back against a good Van squad and losing by 7. As he talked about, the seniors this year, they were part of that 0-10 team when they were sophomores, just absolutely, just playing 2 levels up and trying to compete against some really good teams in 4A. And so, for them, this class, I think, can make a playoff push. And it's going to be real interesting to see what the Bullard Panthers do this year in 8-4A Division II, because, you've got Carthage and Center. They're both, I think, going to still be top teams. Vandal and Rusk and Bullard and Canton, those are to me, those are the teams fighting for those last 2 playoff spots. And I know Brownsboro went 2-8 last year, but let's not forget, just a couple years ago, they made that playoff run, so you can't necessarily count them out. But still, Bullard's going to be right there in the middle, and we do appreciate him, Coach Bradford, for joining us. And again, we're going to drop these every couple of days. I got Marcus Schultz of Ponder, the new head coach of Ponder. He'll be joining me here soon. Some of these will be video. Some of these will be just audio. This was an audio one only. So be checking that out, of course. Find us. If you found us on Facebook or on a message board and you're trying to know where more of our shows are, s2ssport.com. Or you can find Sideline to Sideline with Grant and I at s2sgrantandterry.com. Also on the s2ssportnetwork.com as well. You can find us on almost every podcast platform. That's the easiest way. We're also on YouTube at L4 Media. So just go onto YouTube, search at L4 Media. You'll be able to find all of our high school stuff that we're going to be putting on there. We're also doing our NFL show, Outdrink the Coverage, where we're talking in the off season. We're talking fun things like we're getting together this week, intern Noah and I, to talk the 1977 Dallas Cowboys, the team that won the Super Bowl by beating Denver in the Superdome in January of 78. We're also going to be talking The League, Season 3, a great TV show, and talking about the Cowboys from 1978 to 1985. So you want to check all that out. You can find that at L4 Media on YouTube. Our Facebook page is still the same, Sideline to Sideline. On Twitter, at Grant and Terry, at S2S Sports. You can find us all there. And again, we do thank Coach Bradford for joining us. And until next time, I'm Terry Bennett, and this has been the Coaches Off-Season Show for new coaches on the S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media.